A courtroom in Denver this week is the center of the debate over the big lie threatening America's elections, the conspiracy theory that the election was rigged against former President Trump by Antifa and Denver-based Dominion voting systems. A former Dominion employee, Eric Coomer, is suing to clear his name, suing the Trump campaign, and suing Joe Oltmann, the conservative leader from Douglas County who first made that Dominion election rigging claim. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger is along, so tell me, Marshall, will the people promoting the big lie finally have to put up some evidence?
Yes and no, because this is really about Eric Coomer, and instead of proving that the big lie was a lie, it's all about Coomer. He needs to prove that the people in the groups that he's suing lied about him and what they say he did, and that they did so with reckless disregard for the truth. What was said about him started with Colorado's Joel Oltmann, who started a conspiracy theory for which no proof has been provided, that Oltmann heard an Antifa conference call where Coomer admitted to rigging the election for Biden.
This plaintiff has to prove that it is false that he attended that Antifa meeting and that he made the statement that was attributed to him. He has to prove that that didn't happen. He doesn't have to prove that Joe Biden legitimately won the election. He doesn't have to prove that Donald Trump was deprived a valid and fair election. All he has to prove is that he didn't attend the Antifa meeting and he didn't make the statements that were attributed to him.
This photo from court today shows Coomer's team playing recorded testimony from Trump campaign attorney Rudy Giuliani. These last 2 days have focused on Coomer's team proving it has enough evidence to go to trial, and lawyers for defendants like Giuliani and Oltmann trying to get the case tossed. Oltmann was in court here at the City and County building yesterday, not today. Instead, he was on a podcast criticizing the judge who has his fate in her courtroom.
There are good judges out there. This is not one of them. This judge is corrupt. This judge marched in an Antifa protest in June of 2020.
He did not elaborate on what he meant besides what he said. No additional information about a judge and an Antifa protest. The claim he made about Coomer, however, if this continues to trial, Oltmann may need to provide additional proof besides, here's what I heard he said, it's true, trust me, end of story. Again, Coomer has to prove, however, that what was said about him in that supposed call was false and that it was done with actual malice, not that the entire election rigging conspiracy was a lie. Kyle, the courtroom is still going on right now. This is the last day, and I don't think there's going to be a decision from the judge. It's possible she could determine that some of the defendants are thrown out of the case, that they've proven, hey, you're not going to say we defamed you. I think she's going to take some time to go through all the evidence before we hear much of that, though.
You know, Marshall, I think that at some point this becomes really frustrating for people that don't think that there was an issue with the election and people that do think that there is an issue with the election, because court after court after court, the people making these election rigging claims have an opportunity. They have a venue to provide evidence if they so choose, and sometimes they haven't been able to, and in this case, they don't have to.
In a way, you will have evidence, but it's not, what's not on trial here, it's not the big lie that's on trial. It's simply somebody, one person saying, you dragged me through the mud and I'm going to sue you for it. And all that person has to do is prove how that happened, not that the entire thing, the big lie, came to be. So there's going to have to be a court case perhaps somewhere about the entire big lie if we want to see a definitive answer at the end about election rigging conspiracy theories.
And the guy who made the original Dominion Antifa election rigging claim, this local guy, Joe Oltmann of FEC United, I mean, he's an influential guy. He's collected loyalty pledges from a bunch of elected Republicans around the state, and he's consistent. Didn't like the voting system. They're in with Antifa. A journalist who doesn't write anything that he likes, that person's an Antifa journalist, and now the judge is Antifa too.
I can't imagine that's going to play well when she's determining whether he continues on in this trial or not. She will probably be fair to what she heard in the courtroom, but when you have something like that happening also, I can't imagine that it doesn't have some sort of play in her mind as she's making a decision.
Marshall Zellinger reporting from outside court. Hurry back in, don't miss anything, Marshall. The Republican frontrunner for governor is losing her campaign manager. That news coming exactly 1 month after Heidi Ganahl kicked off her campaign against Democratic Governor Jared Polis. CU Regent Ganahl is Colorado's only statewide elected Republican right now, and she has acknowledged her campaign for governor is going to be a long shot. Today, we learned her campaign manager, Tiffany Coolidge, plans to leave the Ganahl campaign at the end of the month. Campaign spokesperson says this was the plan all along. We've asked the campaign manager, Coolidge, if that's true. We haven't heard back.